Alright, so there I was, making video on my channel, and here you are, watching video on my channel. Wow, we have so much in common, except what we're doing is technically a different activity, so maybe we don't have anything in common. Wow. Anyway, new video on youtube.com/channel. Today we're talking about new Pokemon Toxtricity, new Pokemon Sword and Shield revealed, brand new Pokemon never before seen, and specifically its Gigantamax form. Before we jump into it, guys, I do just want to say thank you for all the support recently. I really appreciate it. Again, I'm just going to apologize for the camera in advance because I think I've made it slightly better, but it's still not great. I will work on it at some point when I have some time. And yeah, also please remember to subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a like. About half my audience isn't subscribed, so if my audience who watches my videos who isn't subscribed became subscribed, I would have more subscribers, and isn't that great for all of us? Okay, anyway, with all the housekeeping out of the way, let's talk about Toxtricity. So the official Pokemon account posted about this today, and basically talked about maybe the only Gigantamax Pokemon that we knew was in the game from the code but hadn't been revealed yet, and that is Gigantamax Toxtricity. So starting tomorrow, February 6th, from the day that I'm posting this, and going until March 8th at 5 p.m., there will be an increased rate of Gmax Toxtricity in the games. You'll be able to encounter it both in its amped form and its low-key form, which is good. And you can, obviously, as with all raids, you can get the Pokemon. You can even get Pokemon that aren't in your game naturally if you do it from a raid with somebody who's hosting it. So they really didn't release much information here. You have to download the news from the wild area if you want to do this. That makes sense. And you can do that via the internet, and then Mr. Gift from the wild area news, right? Then we can learn a little bit about the Pokemon itself. So here's the design. This shows part of it. Its abilities are Punk Rock, plus and minus. Punk Rock obviously being the best one for the most part. And yeah, it just tells us this. So basically, here's some information about the Pokemon. It can store as many as 1 million liters of poison. Doesn't sound healthy. Each time Toxtricity moves, poisonous liquids gushes out and pours down on opponents like acid rain. During battle, attacks by slamming a Gigantamax electricity down upon an opponent with all of its might. This mass is made up of the tremendous amount of electricity Toxtricity has stored up. The momentum involved in the full swing of Toxtricity's giant body on top of the already powerful electricity is great enough to create a huge crater in the ground. And here's the move. So, electric-type moves used by Gigantamax Toxtricity will change to Gmax Stun Shock. Gmax Stun Shock not only deals damage, but also poisons or paralyzes all opponents. So, the animation is really cool. Obviously I'm not showing it here because these are pictures, but yeah, this is the main thing that you need to know about Gmax Toxtricity. As with all Gmax Pokemon, the main thing that sets them apart, the only thing that sets them apart, is their signature attack. So, with Toxtricity, all electric-type moves used by Toxtricity will turn into... Actually, the camera looks okay, doesn't it? Actually looks... Am I in focus? Can anyone tell? It almost looks like I'm in focus. That can't be right. Anyway, so it turns into Gmax Stun Shock. And so Gmax Stun Shock is the middle ground between Butterfree and Pikachu. It poisons or paralyzes all opponents. I believe the way this works, though I haven't tested it myself, but I'm pretty sure the way it works is like, if you use Gmax Stun Shock and they have a Steel-type Pokemon, you will always paralyze it. I'm pretty sure that's how that works, though I haven't tested it. So, I think you're guaranteed status on every Pokemon provided it's possible. I don't think it's like a 50% chance to paralyze and a 50% chance to do nothing. On Steel types, I think you guarantee get poison or paralysis on Steel types, which is interesting. So, that's what you need to know, basically. You have a 50% chance on both the opponent's Pokemon of getting either... Well, you have a 100% chance of getting a status, and it's a 50% chance for poison, 50% chance for paralysis. So how good is this Pokemon? Toxtricity is a Pokemon that has not had a lot of usage, to be honest, has not had a ton of success so far. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad, though. It has a lot going for it. Dynamaxing Toxtricity is good and bad for it. I do think this Pokemon has potential. I'm just going to kind of talk about what I think could be good and what I think the strengths and weaknesses of this Pokemon are, specifically with its Gmax form. So, the main problem with Dynamaxing Toxtricity is that you lose access to Punk Rock, the ability. And Punk Rock, for those of you who don't know, gives a Life Orb boost to sound-based moves, such as Overdrive, such as Boom Burst. Those are the main ones to use. And so because of that, you lose that power boost that you get from those moves. You also lose the spread damage from them. And additionally, so your poison moves become weaker because all poison and fighting type moves, well, I don't know if it's all, but the relevant poison and fighting type moves become weaker when you use them versus stronger because of their ability to boost the offensive stats. So your poison moves, you're basically Gmax Toxtricity by Gmaxing or Dynamaxing it. You lose some of your power. You know, your moves go up in power, so that compensates a bit for the ability drop for the most part. for losing Punk Rock's sound-based bonus on your electric and normal type moves. But other than that, I don't know. Like you gain a little bit of extra power, but it's not as much power as normal, because this is what I'm trying to say. Because even though obviously you get like an increase because your moves are stronger thanks to Dynamax, you lose power because you lose your ability boosting your moves, which is irrelevant. And there's a couple other things that come into play as well. You lose your spread ability as well, and that's a big factor in Toxtricity, is that there's really good spread moves in Overdrive and Boom Burst. And if you really want to be crazy, you can use Sludge Wave as well. So that's that. Additionally, you lose your power from, you lose the ability to set electric terrain, which might not seem like a huge deal for those of you who, don't know that much about, the current state of the metagame, but electric terrain is good for two reasons. Number one, it blocks sleep from Pokemon on the ground, so it's a very good, actually, defensive tool. On my Dallas Regionals team, a big plan against Butterfree was just to launch Max Lightning right away, just get the electric terrain up, and then, go from there. And so, it's nice to have that option to block opponent's sleep ability, which is, kind of relevant. And the other thing is that it gives electric type moves a power boost, a 1.3 times power boost, not 1.5 anymore. Thank you, Wolf. New mechanics change. It gives you a power boost, which is kind of a big deal for a Pokemon like Toxtricity, which is traditionally thought of as pretty frail, right? Toxtricity is not the Pokemon that you're going to have tanking a lot of attacks you need to be doing damage. So you're trading your electric type bonus, the electric type terrain bonus, as well as the defensive. You offensively, electric terrain provides special attacks on electric moves are stronger, basically a life orb boost, and defensively it's good because it blocks sleep for the team. However, in exchange for that, you get this ability, Gmax Stun Shock. So Gmax Stun Shock is very good. Getting paralysis or poison on every Pokemon is a good ability. It's a good effect, right? It's not as good as Pikachu's attack, which paralyzes everything, because traditionally it's poison's not that good, frankly. Poison is just straight up not that. It's just not that good. Because VGC matches right now aren't taking that many turns, and because they're not taking that many turns, the residual damage from poison, it can be nice. Don't get me wrong, but in general, you'd much rather prefer paralysis, because the chance of not moving is very helpful, and also the speed boosts the speed changes are relevant as well. The reason why I think Gmax Toxtricity could actually be good is because one of the main flaws of Toxtricity, one of the main weaknesses of Toxtricity, is that it's speed, right? It has low base speed, and it requires Tailwind or Icy Wind or Choice Scarf or some kind of speed control, Trick Room. You basically, when you're using this Pokemon, you need to care a lot about its speed, and the ability to potentially paralyze both Pokemon or get a paralysis on a crucial Pokemon, I think is actually pretty good. Additionally, against Steel-type Pokemon like Duraludon and Excadrill, both of which are very good right now, you get guaranteed paralysis if this works the way that I think it does, but I think it works the way that I think it does, so that's why I think it. And so that's pretty good, because there are pretty relevant Pokemon right now that getting a guaranteed paralysis on, both of which are faster and somewhat threatening. Excadrill obviously more than Duraludon, but they're both threatening Pokemon for Toxtricity. So being able to paralyze those Pokemon is really, really good. Additionally, there's not that bad that you can't paralyze electric types, because there's not that many electric types outside of Rotom right now. So yeah, Toxtricity has some things going for it as well. It's not all bad, Dynamax or Gigantamaxing it, because one of the biggest Pokemon right now is Togekiss. Togekiss is a very bad matchup against Toxtricity. Both of its stabs are resisted, in Fairy and Flying, and both of Toxtricity stabs are super effective. So this is a great anti-Togekiss Pokemon. Additionally, Charizard and Whimsicott were also Pokemon that saw usage at Dallas Regionals. They won it. I used it myself. Toxtricity stabs hit both those Pokemon super effectively, as well as Jellicent. So I've actually just gone through and named that in theory, Gmax Toxtricity is a positive matchup against 5 of the 6 Pokemon that won Dallas. And even Conkeldurr, the last one, although you don't love to status it, Toxtricity does resist fighting, which is kind of important for Conkeldurr. So, I don't know, I do feel like there's a place for Toxtricity. I don't know exactly how the best way to use it is with its Gmax form. I did make a video covering base Toxtricity at one point, and some example sets you can use, but this is a Pokemon I wouldn't be surprised to do well. It's obviously not VGC legal just yet. It will be added later in this season. So I think that with all that being said, how good is Gmax Toxtricity? I think it has potential, right? I didn't even talk about a poison raises your special attack for you and your partner, and there's not that many there haven't really been that many poison types in this meta at the moment, and I think poison is a type that has a lot of potential. So I wouldn't sleep on Toxtricity by any means. I wouldn't be surprised to see this Pokemon do very well and have, like, you know, it be underestimated and then do pretty well. And I also wouldn't be surprised to see it kind of be lackluster. But if I had to bet, I think this is a Pokemon you can do well with for sure. Maybe you need a little luck, maybe you need more paralysis than you need poison. But I think I think it could be good for sure. And I think it's also, this is a Pokemon where it really feels like it's very underexplored right now. I think there's a lot of potential for it, and I don't think people have really messed around with it too much. So, yeah, I think there's a good chance that this Pokemon could do well. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much all I want to say about Toxtricity. I think it's a cool Pokemon. I think it has a lot of potential. Like, again, like, it could be good, it could be bad. I don't know. Like, we'll have to wait and see. But I think this Gmax helps it more than it hurts it, even at the very least, because it forces a guessing game. But getting good paralysis when you need it could be really huge, especially if you pair it with, like, Togekiss, for example, and you follow me. Togekiss is protecting it from ground type single target moves like Max Quake and High Horsepower and those moves. And yeah, you can actually boost Togekiss' special attack with your Max Ooze, although, you know, normally Togekiss are more like defensive, but yeah. I think that's pretty much it. So I think this Pokemon has potential for sure. It's not guaranteed like this is going to change or break the format, but I think it's still worth looking into. And if you're a competitive player or if you want to use this Pokemon just for fun because you like it, you could definitely make it work, in my opinion. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all I want to say. Thank you guys so much for watching. Yeah, and I'll see you tomorrow for the next video. Goodbye.